Welcome back to EHS Concepts, the Ways of Safety. It's Ryan once again, and I wanted to share a quick take on a few key items that everyone should kind of address in their organization, whether you're safety or, you know, someone of such importance that you need to be listened to. So, I want to talk about document-controlled policy programs and safety manuals that are non-negotiable for leadership. I've seen a lot of things in my time as a safety professional, but things like vague procedures, inconsistent safety practices, and missing documentation, well, they're not just operational risk, they're leadership failures. These gaps can signal indecision, disorganization, and it just says it's a reactive culture instead of proactive. They expose the business to regulatory scrutiny, reputational damage, and of course, executive liability. When clarity is missing from our systems, accountability collapses behind it. And we've all seen something like that in the work that we've done. So with document controlled policy programs and safety manuals, they're not just paperwork. They're a leadership signature. They serve as a clear expression of yours, expectations, and standards. It gives you a cultural scaffolding, if you will, that unifies the tone across all levels. Legal and operational shields that support executive accountability, one of the other many things it does. But every controlled document must act as a proxy for that leadership tone. If it's vague or inaccessible, your or our credibility is weakened heavily. So we need to make sure that we know that. So talk about risk mitigation. When we have that, it enables us with defensible decisions during audits, investigations, or incidences. It's going to reduce our exposure to citations, fines, and litigation. But the other thing it does, the thing that I care the most about, is the cultural alignment, because it ensures a consistent language and expectations across departments and shifts, all of them. Not only does it do that, it builds trust and clarity into the workforce. Sometimes it's lacking in a lot of the companies that we work for and with. But also, when you have all that, you make scalable leadership because it makes delegation safe and strategic. It's easy. You got the policy. So you can turn that policy into a reinforcement of vision, not just a regulatory formality. XYZ says to do so do it, So documentation should be precise, accessible, and aligned with recognized standards, of course, such as OSHA or ISO 45001. It must evolve with your workforce and your systems, and of course, in operating realities. We got to make sure that's important. It's there. So, when it comes to framing of leadership, when I talk to people, normally I call out and would treat documentation as a proof of decisiveness or indecisiveness. My message is always blunt and clear when I talk to certain companies. If your team doesn't understand your policies, it's not their fault. It's your leadership posture. Every SOP, every manual page either reinforces trust or it's going to erode it. There is no neutral. Vagueness is where disasters hide. You must lead with clarity or you're going to get led by consequences. So, what I empowered and recommended is that you develop and maintain a document-controlled policy program and a safety manual that does several things. First of all, it has to be tightly versioned and centrally accessible. It's got to speak with a leadership tone, not bureaucratic ambiguity. You have to have tightly knit, structured sentences that say this clearly. It's got to connect directly to operational behavior and risk response. None of that crazy stuff. But it's also got to support both regulatory compliance and executive alignment. This is not just an EHS strategy. It's a leadership benchmark. It's how you lead, whether it's in safety or just in business in general. So, in my understanding, leadership is documented, literally. If your systems don't reflect clarity, your influence won't either. Safety, trust, and resilience start with decisiveness in writing and follow through in practice. Lead your documentation the way you want your organization to behave, clearly, consistently, and without compromise. If we expect leadership to resonate, our documentation must reflect conviction, not confusion. Every page, every protocol is a proxy for how we lead under pressure, not just when it's safe to do so. Okay? So, as I said before, we have to ensure that integration is a part of every aspect of EHS or safety in our work, our company's SOPs, our policies, our EHS or safety manual, whatever you want to call it, because we have to integrate it. Because when safety is truly integrated in the job tasks that we perform and the policies that we have, SOPs, and etc., it doesn't need to be first, third, or whatever the other saying can be. It just is. It's integrated. So again, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and look me up in LinkedIn. I'm always looking for safety professional interview. Share our gripes or complaints, our success stories in our field, and failures, because we have a lot of failures that give insight. But even if you're not in safety field, or you may have a story or a perspective to discuss that we all can learn from, I would enjoy that conversation. I do have some that are in the can that are recorded that I have to edit and upload. But till next time, please live and work safely. Thank you for watching.